Hello, it is episode 63 of Three Things with Ian. It is March 4th, and let's get into it. On today's episode, we are going to talk about a podcast recommendation. We are going to talk about some more cultural, gluttonous food. We're going to explore the culinary world together from our little basement here. And lastly, we are going to discuss a piece of technology which I think is super underappreciated, that many of us use every darn day, and it is not the electric razor. Okay, so let's do this thing. It is almost Lent, which means it is the time of year where we, as human beings with a mouth and a hunger, like to indulge. Fat Tuesday is coming up. This is kind of a big deal in the Midwest. A lot of Polish population out here. The Paczki. I spent years struggling with that pronunciation. But the Paczki is basically a really nice donut with an asterisk. The asterisk being don't all the Polish people come at me and to be like, oh, it's not a donut, it's a pastry or something like that. To me, it's a fried round of yeast dough. If that doesn't yell donut of some sort, I don't know. I've seen them, beautiful golden brown with a really decadent filling. It can be apricot, strawberry, raspberry, chocolate, vanilla. It runs the entire gamut. Puffy dough balls, but they have a density to them that is different than other just filled donuts. Often they're rolled in granulated sugar. I've seen them frosted. I've seen them with a powdered sugar rather. They're different from donuts in terms of their sweetness and richness. So it's like a double dip. It's like the best of both worlds. So this is a splurge food before Lent begins. I always eat a Paczki or two if I can get my hands on them. Fat Tuesday is also known as Shrove Tuesday, Mardi Gras. This is the day to indulge, right? Before we get into Ash Wednesday and the Lenten experience. This is Carnival season, Mardi Gras. This is a way to just let yourself go. The problem is most of us let ourselves go all the time, so it's not really just a dietary restraint during Lent. So thank you to the Polish immigrants who brought these wonderful Paczkis with them. I was looking up other cultural foods. I found one, Iceland, a country known for a lot of things, a love of glaciers and hot dogs, and Eurovision. Also, Bolludagur, Bolludagur. This is basically, I have a picture of it. I was going to pull it up, but oh my goodness, my picture's gone. I'll have to do that later. This is a super decadent bun filled with literally 3 to 4 inches of cream. And you earn one of these delicious treats literally by spanking an adult while yelling bola bola bola, which means buns, buns, buns. So there's a triple entendre here. There's layers that I don't even know how to unpack. You get sweet buns for children spanking their adults. Or strangers, apparently, according to this part of the article. What's cool about this is Iceland is a population of, I think, 350,000 people. And collectively, they bake over 1 million of these things. So the math is just staggering. This is the equivalent of, for our friends from the Paczki region, there's 350 million Americans. You're talking a billion Paczkis. So yes, in Iceland, individuals are literally eating 2 to 3 a person. It's not really a religious festival, according to this article. So the buns that Boldugurs are made out of, it's a choux pastry, the type used to make profiteroles, sliced through the middle, filled with cream and jam, and then topped with chocolate. Obviously, there's many varieties. I just love this. I just love any holiday where you got to spank someone to get a treat. So I think this speaks to the human desire, the human want to indulge, but also to do so with the idea of that there will be some restraint, that there will be a pulling back. The Bacchanalia cannot last forever. We know that. So I do think that all these cultures throughout history, throughout time, there's the overindulgence, there's the doing too much, and then there's the pulling back, there's the restraint, there's the fasting, and the coming to terms that we do need a moderation is the best method. So those are just two interesting things. I hope I can get some punchkis soon, and then the Icelandic spanking day where you get the bun filled with cream, just fantastic. So we talked about other cultures and food, so maybe that'll be a recurring theme on the pod. Wait, Don't Tell Me is a podcast that I know a lot of you have probably heard. It's an hour-long weekly news radio program produced by WBEZ, NPR in Chicago. It's done. I saw them live here a long time ago. Peter Sagal's the host. There's a panel of individuals. They talk about the news. There's a quiz show. There's usually a guest that is from that region where they're filming. But why do I love this show? It's really because of Paula Poundstone. I cannot speak highly enough of this woman. I don't know that much about her. I've never seen her stand-up comedy. Looking at her Wikipedia, she's 65 from Huntsville, Alabama. You wouldn't know by looking at her, by listening to her. She's phenomenal. She is biting social commentary, super funny. Yes, progressive, going to be that left-leaning NPR. Just totally gets it. Just phenomenal. I really like her as one of the reoccurring guests. Wait, Don't Tell Me is just a really fun. It's one of those shows where you don't have to listen to it every week. The nice thing is it's somewhat topical, but not hyper topical it is to a degree, but you can miss a few episodes. You get the gist of it. Really, really, really fun. It's on my top 10 rotation. It's just so honed in. Everybody on the program, from the host to the different actors and actresses they get on to the panel, they're just so hyper fixated on the news and what's funny. And what's interesting is when you go to a live taping, essentially the cut on the radio is almost identical. They only retape a few different things if someone is sort of mumbling into a mic, or they're off camera, or something said that's off color. Really what you're getting is it's pretty unedited, pretty unfiltered. And as somebody who gets in front of the microphone for 12, 13 minutes and just goes with no editing, really. Occasionally after 2 minutes, I'll just stop and redo it. But once I'm like 5 minutes in, I am pedal to the metal, for better or for worse. So I've liked this podcast for a long time. I'm sure that the stations out there play it quote unquote live, but I usually just wait until it's available on, Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that jazz. But wait, Don't Tell Me, especially Paula Poundstone. She is just side-splittingly funny. Just her comebacks, her comeuppances, she's witty, her aphorisms, just everything about her is just wonderful, 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 wonderful. So that's my number 2 thing. Number 3, I recently purchased another quote-unquote smart TV, and I thought to myself, Roku is a hardware. I don't know if they actually make the TVs, but Roku is the smart TV OG, right? It allows you to forego having to get a Fire Stick, to have a PlayStation or Xbox, to log into the streaming services with the hardware embedded in the television. Roku has completely changed TV viewing, especially with the fact that almost everybody is cableless. They cut the cords. They're streaming Amazon Prime and Hulu and Disney Plus and Apple TV. And you can do this all without any extra stuff. Roku just keeps everything super clean and embedded within the hardware. And if you're just thinking and pontificating about, okay, what's a technology, what's a company that's changed how you interact with something that you do daily, TV. Most of us watch some TV or at some point in time in our lives, usually at least every couple days. The Roku itself has changed the game. They don't get enough credit. They're undervalued. It's just one of those things where I was thinking to myself, it's a company, it's a name you hear. It has recognition, but for what it's done, it's completely removed a huge burden and obstacle. There's no cable box, there's no extra cords or wires. You're not having to open up the PlayStation and then click on the Amazon Prime. You still can do that, but it's just such a convenient, easy packaging. The The setup is basically, it's done for you. I was just thinking to myself, Roku, you're undervalued, you're underappreciated. I am going to speak to your greatness here in front of my 30 subscribers. So that's where we're at. So I gave you some great fatty, indulgent foods. I think it's important as much as we exercise and keep our healthy habits. It is good to indulge sometimes, knowing that we don't do it every day. That's the key. We talked about the Roku and Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me and the national treasure that is Paula Poundstone. I will see you all tomorrow. Good night.